clause is stated from the perspective of the indirect object, the boy, who receives the definition of the transitive verb a word from the subject at first, and the direct object, the certificate for verifying his stamina, secondly. The boy is awarded the certificate for verifying his stamina from the principal. In this clause, there is the object of the subjective complement. This is very distinctive. This kind of clause, this form of clause cannot be classified into the 5 types of clauses because we find the object of the subjective complement. This phenomenon happens because we admit that the definition of the transitive verb is able to be understood as a carrier that the direct object are on. The definition of the transitive verb, a word, and the direct object are stated to be delivered to the indirect object that became the subject. The certificate for verifying his stamina, the direct object in the original clause, still receive the definition of the transitive verb a word from the subject, the principal in the original clause. So we can understand that the second transitivity of the past participle is the good way to understand the relation between awarded and the certificate for verifying his stamina. The definition of the transitive verb award is delivered to the certificate for verifying his stamina. Still, because the conveyance from the original subject, the principal, to the indirect object, the boy, via the direct object, is still valid. So we can understand that the past participle awarded has the form of the past participle with a trait of an adjective to describe the subject, and the past participle awarded has a role as a subjective complement. This subjective complement has the second transitivity from the form of the past participle. The definition of the transitive verb award is stated to be delivered to the certificates for verifying his stamina that were the direct object in the original clause stated in the first type of clause. The speaker in the passive voice states the clause in the perspective of the indirect object, the boy, to get the action indicated by the transitive verb award at last. The relationship with the subject, the principal, conveys the direct object, the certificate, for verifying his stamina, to the indirect object, the boy, through the action indicated by the transitive verb award, remains in a clause that the speaker states. The clause, while focusing on the indirect object, the boy.